Guys, it's me and Bros. I'm back in with another video. How are y'all doing? I'm doing fine. I just got back from Canby Lake. Was on a school field trip. But anyways, today we're gonna be reacting to Misha Petrov's reaction. She's a YouTuber who reacts to stuff on the woke. She also does some skits too, but she reacts mainly with culture or political stuff. I'm not trying to steal her content. I'm obviously just gonna give my opinion on it. Kind of like how you would react to Asmongold. But anyways, we're going to get into this video, guys. So like and subscribe, and let's get
by people being able to be media.
Now that with every year there are new rules added to the rule book on how not to offend anybody, so we know that silence.
I mean, at this point, how many books are they going to make? Like, imagine like there were physical book. Well, on a computer there are online like a list of words that are like offensive and like can't be used. How many words are we gonna start censoring until language just completely gets destroyed, and at that point we can only use sign language, and even sign language will become offensive, guys. Like, I don't know what these like woke, like progressive want from us.
Violence is violence, for example. Also, giving compliments, that's violence. You can't braid your hair as a white person, that's racist. You can't work out.
Of course. Despite hair braiding being in tons of different cultures, you can't do that. Everything, guys.
That would be.
You can't have anything anymore in this world in 2025. As a Gen Zer, when I'm gonna grow up in a world that's like screwed over its head because of bullshit socialist Marxists that have infiltrated our country. I'm convinced that communism has infiltrated our system, our school system too.
These wild takes in preparation for the new year so that we can do better.
Can I be honest with y'all?
I'm not doing better. My place is not a safe space. I'm not a safe space for any of these hoes. I'm not. Guys, if you don't know, my house is not a safe space, so these people are gonna be freaking roasted to like hell.
For a second, white women calling black women and femmes queen is really starting to sound like a microaggression to me.
How is it a microaggression? Calling someone queen is a term of like respect and like status. How is saying like stuff like queen or like slay queen like? And what do you mean femmes? Like, are like feminine men? Okay, what's their point?
Suppressing people with compliments, because saying queen, right, that's like a funny way of showing admiration for someone. Yes, queen.
You might as well like stop calling her, like, if you have a wife or if you have a husband, you might as well just stop calling them husband and wife, because that term may be offensive to non-binary people. In fact, it is. I'm pretty sure.
Lift someone up in a fun way. Apparently not. Apparently it's racist. Here is a response to this video.
A microaggression to me.
Be quiet. Women are catty, competitive, and mean. And what we're not going to do is take the moments where we're actually supporting one another and turn them into something ugly. Why does
facts
white women supporting black women bother you? Why do you assume that black women will be offended or aggravated?
It's kind of like the whole point of like the Democrats is that they're probably the actual racists. They claim that Republicans are the racists, like I'm a racist, but they never look at themselves and see what they're doing is racist. So I'm not always. No one's ever always gonna be consistent 100% of the time. I'm just saying, there's not that much self-awareness in the space of the progressives.
But I remember maybe let's say 2010 when I was a kid, and then when I was a teen, like no one focused on race this much.
Yeah, I agree with her. Like when I was like young, when I was back in like 2015, 2016, and maybe that's because, you know, I was too young to understand or something, but I like barely heard any of this shit. Like I didn't know what BLM was or CRT, and yes, it likely did exist, but like I just never heard about it until now, until I, you know, got deep into the internet's asshole. It's insane how like we used to not care, because like back in the 1960s, okay, you did have racism, and like in the 50s, But like during the times later in the 90s, we were pretty much chill until you have like these intersectionalist Marxists like that want to come here and saying that black people are just being oppressed by white people constantly 24/7 hours a day.
It's really sad because even with this first woman, right, if she has kids, let's say, that's the kind of conversation that she's going to have with them. Oh, white people can say this, they can't say that, black people can say this, and they might be offended by this.
Well, it's gatekeeping. Which, I mean, I would argue that you can't gatekeep language because language isn't like race specific. Language, it can be used by anybody, right? Like, you can't police my language just because you feel offended. Like, that's not how reality works. That's not how free will or the mind works.
First of all, who are you to decide that? Second of all, it's like...
Well, I mean, they think they're gods, and apparently they're going to tell us that we can't even have our basic God-given rights of free speech.
I don't remember this being a problem. When I was a kid, you would hang out with another kid if you got along, right? If you wanted to hang out with them, if you wanted to have a play date. No one was sitting at the lunch table dissecting each other's identities. Hispanic kids, Asian kids, black kids, mixed kids, no one cared. And I feel like
no one should care. And you shouldn't care about, like, okay, you can, like, let's say you have different beliefs. I'm not going to constantly talk about your identity. Well, for me, I'm private culture, but like identity is not like the threshold of success in this world. It's not, though, and you can't police language just because of someone's identity.
Going into the new year, we should actually try and be more like even 10 years ago, right? People cared about race way less. And
well, it doesn't seem like it's getting any better here now in 2025. It's still going on, but I hope this does stop. I don't know if it will though, but let's just hope for the best and pray to God at this point, because that's all we could do.
If you don't want to be racist, you actually should focus on race less. Why is there a push to constantly focus on it? That is going to have the opposite effect that you want. Or maybe not. Maybe you do want everyone to hate each other.
They probably do. They want... Here's the thing. The way you control people is you divide them. Okay, so first you divide them. You get them to turn on each other, so that they're not protecting each other. Obviously, they become weaker. And then what the elites will do is when they see that, then they will slowly start to conquer us. Because we are so caught up in the moment that we're not even realizing that this is all a plan from the elites to control us. That's the globalism, the New World Order. That's what the Bible talks about. When it talks about a one world order under Antichrist. And Antichrist, he's the counterfeit to Jesus Christ, the one true Messiah.
Can we talk?
In my belief, I'm not going to force anyone to believe in God. It's your own conscience, your own free will. I'm just saying this as like my point of view.
How miserable white people are for a second? Like, you know that white people are miserable, right? Like, have you?
I'm just such a miserable person, guys. How can you say like white people are miserable every day? Is that not like a microaggression according to you? Well, it's the other. Well, it can't be the other way around because you guys aren't consistent, like never consistent. No one's consistent 100% of the time, but we can't pretend that you can't be racist or you can't throw stereotypes at white people, because you absolutely can. Because being white or like Caucasian is just a race as any other race. Okay, we're human beings, actually.
Have you ever looked a white person in the eye, even if they're like a big mental health person? You just look deep down and you're like, brother, you are not happy at all.
I mean, I feel the Holy Spirit in me a lot of the time, so I would disagree with you. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you watching would disagree. If you are watching, hopefully. But I just think it's stupid to assume that white people are sad all the time and depressed when it's just not true. Like, there are people like white people, like Caucasians, Europeans, white people in the religious life who are happy. Are you saying they're putting on a facade? I don't understand where this guy is coming from Raid Burvick. I don't know Raid Burvick where you're coming from. Would love to know where you're getting this information from.
And capitalism's negative effect and oppression.
No one's denying that there's been corruption, Raid. We're denying that we're denying that I'm denying, first of all, that patriarchy is inherently bad. And I'm denying that capitalism is inherently bad, because yes, free market is good. Yes, there is corruption, but everything has corruption. We live in a fallen world. And we can't make, as humans, anything 100% perfect all the time. We need help. We do need some sort of divine, I believe, some divine grace. I didn't there. I just think this world needs a bit of love.
Oppression of the world and genocide that's happening around the world, that's incongruent with reality. That is going to have an effect on us internally, because we're all suffering under capitalism and white supremacy.
Maybe if we spent more time debunking this intersectional Marxist rhetoric, and we spend more time actually teaching the world to unite the people and to bring communion and peace, as Christ said. Blessed are those who make peace with the earth, goodwill and blessed are the meek, they will have the inheritance of the kingdom of the earth. I think if we spend more time making peace, and I'm not talking about the distorted anti-Christ peace. I'm talking about the Christian sense, what Christ commanded us. We should be a light to the world, and I don't think that this is going to help us. I simply don't. If we spend more time making middle ground and understanding people, if we spend more time humble and getting a message of love, then the world would automatically change. It would. The problem is that not everyone is the same. We're all different human beings. We have different experiences, personalities, wants, and interests, and we have vices. And the biggest thing of that is sin, which prevents us from moving forward, I think, in this world. The reason why this world can never achieve peace as it is right now, it can't apart from God, is because this world is steeped in sin. In my view, it's been like this for thousands of years, since Adam and Eve. And I just think that we need to return to a sense of actual communion. We need to start. We have to stop dividing people. We have to stop placing people in these little groups. Okay, that's not what I believe Christ called us to do. Even if you don't believe in God, I think you would still agree that it's not good to divide humanity. We should be, we have a common enemy, right? The elitists. Shouldn't we be uniting against a common enemy? Look at it this way. Wouldn't it actually make sense, guys, that all this stuff that we're being taught, CRT, BLM, Satanism, drag show, all of these things, haven't you ever thought that was a tool that the elites themselves were using to make us distracted, and so that they can gain more control? Because I think that would make more sense than what Marxism teaches, that that we're all racists. Because obviously the elites are going to try to divide us so then they can conquer us, because that's the concept: divide and conquer, lead people to their destruction ultimately. Okay, and for any Christian who's watching this, if you believe in God, the Bible says, and Jesus says, Jesus says that the devil is the father of all lies. And for me, I think that all of these Marxism, it originates from the devil. He is the father of lies who wants to take people away from God, from Jesus. And Jesus is the good shepherd who wants to lead us back to his fold. But we're blinded by the corruption and the deceptions of the devil. We see what the devil puts in us. White, evil, supremacist, fascist. What do I know?
And in the comments, I've always wondered why they so angry. This makes sense. Hope you reach the right people with this message. He calls white people porcelain demons. His idea.
That's just a great way to look at us, guys. Porcelain demons. How is that not? How is that loving? They will call us the hateful bigots, but then they call us names. Does that make sense to you guys? I'm not the only. I know I'm not the only one who recognizes this. You are going to call us, or people who live in reality, you're going to call Christian people or even non-Christian like atheists who disagree with you. You're going to call us the hateful ones, but then you're going to turn around and then call us all these evil names. You're going to call us not. You're going to call us hate. You're going to call us Satan. You will throw every name in the book, okay? And all I hear for that is just hate. I do not see positivity. I do not see acceptance. I do not see love. I do not see any of that. What I see is projection. That's why I just see projection to like one of the highest degrees.
Is that a specific race, an entire...
And it's terrible. It's not healing the world. Like, if anyone actually believes this, please, I'm begging you, please, look outside of your echo chamber. Search stuff up. Podcast, please. Just get out of your echo chamber for once and like live. Guys, like live if you're actually part of this. Please, just do your research. Know that none of what they're crafting for us a delusion. These elites. That's where it all comes from. The elites are crafting this. They're propping this for us. They want to turn us against each other, guys. They want to fuck humanity over. Okay. Of course. Of course they're going to tell. Of course the people who are preaching the CRT are people or climate change are people like George Soros, Bill Gates. Why? Because they have a lot of money. They don't need to worry about that, guys. And yes, people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, yes, they are rich. And I'm not all rich people are bad. When I'm talking about the elites, I'm talking about the people, the assholes. And to be honest, there are assholes on both sides, okay? So maybe that's also the problem here. But and I'm not anti-Trump. I'm just saying that neither side is perfect and that we have been cucked by the elites.
Entire race lacks internal congruence, and that's why they're miserable. But just because a white person doesn't buy into this hyper woke narrative of societal systems, that does not mean that they're suffering internally because of capitalism and patriarchy. And that's why when you look,
they say like capitalism like creates more homeless people and damages people. Here's how I like the value. Okay. The value you provide, from my understanding, the value you provide in your work area, in your workspace, is the equivalent to what you get paid. I think that's how it works. So it's actually fair though. You get paid your fair wages, you know, for like what you sewed, and like. Yes, there are poor people, but like, it's gonna happen in any society. To be honest, you can have also poor people that are like struggling because you will have greedy businesses. You will have drug addicts also. That's one reason for homelessness. But is socialism and communism gonna solve that? Is it really? Because from my understanding, communism has actually like killed more than it helped. And from my understanding, I think Our Lady, I think Mother Mary, okay, I think there was like a Marian apparition, guys, who she said, Our Lady, I think she talked about the threat of communism. Wait, let me search this up. Here it is, guys. In the mid 1800s, Jesus began appearing to. It was Jesus. So it wasn't Mary who said it, but it was an apparition. It was just Jesus. In the mid 1800s, Jesus began appearing to future saints and mystics, warning them of a small group of people, he said, pose grave danger to humanity. This tiny group, still unknown to the world, he called communists. Sister Mary of St. Peter, a Carmelite nun not well known outside France, reportedly received a request from Jesus to warn the local archbishop that special devotion was needed to spiritually destroy the work of the communists. The archbishop failed to act, and none of the devotions requested by Jesus were implemented at that time. At the same time that Jesus is appearing to Sister Mary, an unknown political theorist named Karl Marx is writing the Communist Manifesto. When he is finished, the Communist League of London publishes his tract, but gets low attention. By 1900, Karl Marx died, but the theories that he created, still in their infancy, are growing in popularity. Between 1911 and 1916, a severe religious persecution in Portugal kills 1,700 priests and religious, and the socialist persecutors are only a shadow of the evil that will come. In 1970, the Virgin Mary appears to three shepherd children near Fatima, Portugal, and states that Russia will soon become communist and spread her errors throughout the world. On her final apparition, October 13th, 1970, more than 70,000 people witnessed an amazing solar miracle, referred today as the miracle of the sun, in which the gathering of people see the sun spin and dance in the sky for 12 minutes. No one's eyes are damaged even though they stare directly into the sun. Only weeks after this amazing spectacle, Russia falls into communism, and Vladimir Lenin, the leader of this revolution, begins to stamp out religion from the country. By 1939, the Russian Orthodox Church claims only hundreds of parishes, down from 54,000 in 1970. Tens of thousands of priests, monks, and nuns are persecuted or killed. As communism and atheism rise during the 20th century, humanity undergoes sufferings at a level never seen before. World War II claimed approximately 50 million lives. Following the war, the eastern half of Europe falls under Soviet domination, and the people living in these communist countries lose even the most basic freedom available to the citizens of the West. My point is, guys, that
they're
if
just
anyone tells you that communism is like the greatest thing that happened to humanity, or if anyone tells you that communism works, it just hasn't been fully achieved, then you know that they're full of bullshit, okay? Because in reality, this stuff is demonic. It won't help anyone. It's going to make everybody miserable.